Hello everyone, so we've already talked about properties of polygons and the general definitions of several quadrilaterals. All of these quadrilaterals have more detailed properties. There's more than just the definition for them, so that's what we're going to talk about. And pretty much there's just going to be a lot of writing down of the properties. We're going to practice them and kind of talk about them more and use them in class. So let's get started. Properties of parallelograms. By definition, our opposite sides are parallel. However, opposite sides are also congruent, opposite angles are also congruent, the diagonals bisect each other, and any pair of consecutive angles are supplementary. At any time, please feel free to pause and get these down because, like I said, we're just walking through the properties and we'll apply them in class. Properties of rectangles. All of the properties of parallelograms, so all of these properties also apply for a rectangle. All angles are right angles, and diagonals are also congruent. Our properties of kites, the awkward cousin of the quadrilateral family. By definition, two pairs of consecutive sides are congruent. Furthermore, the diagonals are perpendicular to each other, and one diagonal is a perpendicular bisector of the other. One diagonal bisects a pair of opposite angles, and one pair of opposite angles are congruent, just depending on your orientation of the kite. Properties of rhombi. Some people call them rhombuses. Either is correct. Rhombuses or rhombi have all the properties of parallelogram, all the properties of a kite. Also, all sides are congruent. The diagonals bisect the angles. The diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. And the diagonals divide the rhombus into four congruent right triangles. Our properties of a square. Well, we have all the properties of a rectangle, which again include all the properties of a parallelogram as well. All the properties of a rhombus, which also include all the properties of a kite. And the diagonals form four isosceles right triangles. Properties of the isosceles trapezoids. The legs are congruent by definition. Bases are parallel by definition. The lower base angles are congruent. The upper base angles are congruent. Diagonals are also congruent, and any lower base angle is supplementary to any upper base angle. True or false? True or false? All trapezoids are parallelograms. Go ahead, take a moment, write down your answer. True or false? No rectangle is a rhombus. All squares are rectangles. All parallelograms are quadrilaterals. Some isosceles trapezoids are parallelograms. All rhombuses are squares. All squares are rhombi. No trapezoid is a rectangle. Some rectangles are parallelograms, and all rhombi are parallelograms. Keep in mind with our quadrilateral family tree, if you're working up a chain, that's an always. Well, depending on the wording, sometimes the wording can be kind of tricky. If you're working down, it's a sometimes. If you're working in a completely different chain, that's going to be a never. Let's take a look at how you did. Only one that might have tricked you is number 9, because I said that some rectangles are parallelograms, when we know, in fact, all rectangles are parallelograms. So that might have been the only one that kind of stumped you a little bit, but hopefully we did pretty well. So like I said, we'll practice more of these in class and apply it to some problems. See you then.